Hello, everyone. My name is Trishandra Wheatley, and today's presentation is on a systemic review of Marriage Story film. In this presentation, I will investigate the complicated dynamic between Charlie and Nicole Barber, the primary couple of Marriage Story. They provide a powerful case study of a couple embroiled in a declining marriage, providing an inroad to examining a family system in crisis. By applying Bohemian family system theory, I will analyze how emotional fusion, differentiation, and triangulation creates relational distress for the couple. This case provides a nuanced understanding of how systemic patterns rather than discrete behaviors create conflict and emotional reactivity within families. Seeing their plight through this theoretical lens offers a window into processes of separation, co parenting, and emotional recovery post divorce. Charlie and Nicole Barber illustrate younger professional couple whose professional aspirations and careers span their personal lives. After a 10-year relationship, they not only share an artistic bond, but also a young son named Henry, who provides stability for their family and later becomes a part of their conflict. As time passes, the breakdown in communication and emotional needs become evident, and ultimately their relationship unravels. This film documents their experience from co-creators to opponents involved in an emotional filled divorce and custody dispute. It is important to establish these details so that we can begin to analyze how systemic context and emotional fusion and family processes influence the behaviors and choices made during separation. Even through the chaos around their divorce, both Charlie and Nicole display some compelling family strengths. Their love for Henry is the glue that keeps them together through conflict. They both demonstrate emotional intelligence through brief moments of empathy. For example, when Nicole fixes Charlie's hair or reads him Nicole's letter of appreciation, and Charlie reads it. Small gestures like this, that despite their differences, they still care for one another and show some form of basic respect for one another. Throughout this presentation, we will see their artistic and intelligent connection in the theater through their collaboration. With all of these strengths together beneath the dysfunction, I would suggest the Barbers have emotional and relational capacity to one day rebuild an effective parenting relationship underpinned with respect for one another, emotional and intellectual caregiving, and basic respect. Planning is based on clinician-trained outpatient model for divorce mediation and Bohemian intervention. The immediate clinical goals will focus on lowering emotional reactivity and business-like co-parenting communication geared towards Henry. Mild phase goals will focus on building differentiational through geneograms, exploration, and coaching of I position statements to decrease blame cycles. Specific interventions will include detriangulation strategies to reduce attorney driven escalation and formal measures to measure progress. Treatment pacing will be flexible and we will regularly review risk, escalation, safety, and collaboration with legal medical support as ethically indicated. The case data is from observable behaviors, reported symptoms, and theoretical assessments. Both Charlie and Nicole show symptoms consistent with adjustment disorder mixed with anxiety and depressed mode during emotional dysregulation episodes. Nicole shows anxiety, identity disruption, and mood swings in contrast to Charlie, who demonstrates denial, anger, and exhaustion. Within the couple's exchange are observed patterns of communication failure, elevated distress reactions, and reactive behaviors that can be assessed using divorce stress scale and the conflict tactics scale. This data highlights the couple's systemic distress and continues to substantiate the rationale for a therapeutic intervention focused around emotional differentiation, repairing communication, and addressing co-parenting stability. The relationship between Charlie and Nicole is characterized by emotional upheaval and communication breakdown. Their unresolved conflicts spill into legal disputes, adding more stress and ill will. Nicole is experiencing anxiety and depression, both a result of losing her autonomy and identity in the marriage. Charlie is feeling denial, frustration, and fatigue as he struggles with losing control of his family and career prospects. Both partners are low in differentiation, meaning they are emotional reacting to each other as opposed to thoughtfully engaging. This emotional reactivity fuels blaming and defensiveness, which keeps them from having healthy conversations and fuels their ongoing relationship collapse. In the assessment stage, the task is to gain insight into their relationship dynamics of the barbers using informal and formal methods. Informally, a genealogram would be used to capture their family patterns, while direct observation and tracking conflicts will provide valuable data about their current emotional cycles and communication issues. Formally, the divorce stress scale and the conflict tactics scale could provide specific quantitative measures of stress for each partner as well as their conflict related behaviors. Together, the informal and formal assessments provide a comprehensive understanding of emotional reactivity power struggles and systemic patterns operating in their marriage. A data driven assessment process enables purposeful intervention choices that foster better emotional regulation and communication, and a better co parenting experience. Charlie and Nicole find themselves at a pivotal moment in their family's life cycle, from parenting a young child together, redefining their roles as co parents following divorce. This life cycle shift produces a significant level of developmental stress as both parents also experience emotional reactivity, incomplete grief, and developmental identity changes. The inability to regulate these feelings is now getting in the way of their respective abilities to offer a safe and stable environment for Henry. For Henry, moving from house to house, potentially differing routines, and exposure to parental conflict are precursors to erosion of emotional safety. As a result, in conducting a family therapy process, supporting both parents to achieve emotional differentiation while maintaining a focus on Henry's developmental needs for stability, reassurance, and belongingness in both households is critical. The highest priority for Charlie and Nicole is decreasing their emotional reactivity and establishing a new communication pattern that is focused on Henry's needs as opposed to each other's grievances. Once the emotional tenor decreases, the next step is to facilitate the partners in strengthening each partner's self differentiation, moving from reacting to actively thinking and responding in calming ways, which encourages personal progress and a sense of autonomy while avoiding blame and defensiveness. Finally, the long term goal is to build a collaborative co parenting relationship that provides Henry with stability, love, and consistency. All of these take time with the use of personal emotional regulation, actively respecting each other, and willingness to trust, understand, and grow in a systemic way. In this empirical case study, intervention inputs were implemented that are both supported and evaluated for their ethical application within couples and family therapy. The divorce stress scale and conflict tactics scale inform the practitioner about stress and communication patterns about stress, whose severity is quantified with a total score for John and Nicole. Interventions are additionally based on genealograms and multi-generational processes, I statements to entrench self-responsibility, and detriangulation for stress enmeshment and or third-party involvement. In support of using interventions to decrease differentiation and a way to decrease conflict, Calatrava found that increasing levels of differentiation in clients was associated with lower levels of conflicts across the divorce process continuum. Furthermore, Harris found that stress assessment of couples as a part of assessment will an important component of treatment planning and a valuable measure in high conflict divorce. Family law acts as a significant external factor influencing Charlie and Nicole's conflict in marriage story. As Devendorf explains, legal systems often encourage adversarial behavior instead of emotional closure. Lawyers and courts can contribute to defensiveness, mistrust, and competition among parents. Within this context, therapists must maintain firm ethical boundaries by remaining neutral and focusing on systemic patterns rather than inappropriately taking sides. Maintaining confidentiality as outlined in HIPAA and avoiding triangle formation with legal professional are vital to establishing trust and moving the couple closer to collaborating on emotional, related co-parenting practices. Bowenian family system theory views the family as an emotional unit that influences the behavior and emotions of its members. Charlie and Nicole, for example, demonstrates emotional fusion since both characters are often responding to one another in a reactive rather than a reflective manner, and this contributes to the emotional conflict between them. Their actions demonstrate avoidance of one another rather than healthy separation. Throughout the marriage story, we often see a triangle of legal system and the attorney as briefly depersonalizing the tension between Charlie and Nicole, while maintaining the anxiety stirred up within the family system. The theory helps to explain how the dependency on unresolved emotional dependency has kept them in distress, and how therapy can serve to foster maturity or balance to the emotional worlds of both members. Bohemian interventions are designed to enhance self differentiation and emotional regulation in the family system. The first intervention is teaching Charlie and Nicole how to I position statements so both take responsibility for their feelings in a non blaming way. Then a genealogram will help clarify the systemic context of behaviors, understanding that Nicole's closeness with her family and Charlie's emotional autonomy have been affected by familiar patterns spanning generation. The therapist's task is to facilitate their understanding of emotional triggers and assist them in responding more thoughtfully and calmly to each other. Overall, therapy is intended to facilitate the couple's transition from seeing themselves as dual parents to co managing a system, emphasizing collaboration and stability in a partnership in co parenting. For families such as the Barbers, two useful community supports are Claremont Counseling Services and Therapy and Cove Relationship Counseling. Claremont Counseling offers flexible schedule, HIPAA compliant sessions with specific focus on evidence-based interventions for divorce recovery, emotional adjustment, and family therapy. Therapy and Co offers tailored services for relationship counseling that focuses on communication, conflict management, and rebuilding trust. Both supports offer licensed professionals who maintain confidentiality and prioritize what is best for their clients. For Charlie and Nicole, engaging within these community supports may improve their process in therapy, help establish calm, and allow for continued support as they navigate co parenting after divorce. The prognosis for Charlie and Nicole is one, cautious positivity. Even if their emotional reactivity and legal issues are continuing challenges, their joint love of Henry would more than outweigh those challenges. Signs of progress would include, but are not limited to, reduced conflict, better emotional regulation, and a more civil co parenting arrangement. Termination will involve a focus on skills acquired in the therapy, such as using I statements and staying coach in their communication. The therapist will help the couple build a chronic relapse plan and identify community supports. Ultimately, the expectation would be that the couple has achieved lasting emotional stability and can maintain some civil, respectful co parenting relationship post therapy. In summary, Charlie and Nicole's narrative in the marriage story demonstrates how divorce is an unpleasant process. However, by viewing it from a systemic vantage point, it could also be transformative process. The Bohemian family system lens helps to unpack the emotional patterns that led to conflict and propel each partner towards self differentiation and growth. In therapy, the couple can progress from reactive to intentional communication, developing a more stable environment for their son Henry. Ultimately, the family therapy is an opportunity to move away from blame, develop emotional awareness, and cultivate long lasting relational health within a new co-parenting model. This concludes my presentation, but this is a list of references used to complete my presentation. Thank you all.